Every single subject we come across can be made into hundreds, if not thousands, of images. What a beautiful thing to find and photograph. Getting out and doing things like this really helps me to stay balanced and keeps me sane. Well, welcome to the beach. Today I have headed out to see what sort of interesting things I can find to photograph on the sand. And while I'm at it, I'm going to share some of the benefits of walking barefoot at the beach. So let's see what interesting things I can find to photograph on the beach today in this beautiful part of the world on the Murray coast in Scotland. Now, I began my working life as a nurse, and even since leaving the nursing profession, I've gone on to study in self-care and wellness coaching and working with mindful photography. And as well as all of my studies, I've also experienced through retreats, workshops and personal healing sessions some incredible things that can really help our well-being. And I'm also very aware about what things make me feel good. And one of those things is walking barefoot on the beach. I find it invigorates me, it renews me, it really helps me to feel grounded and just at peace. And from somebody who's quite a sensitive soul and can sometimes feel quite overwhelmed by the modern day world, getting out and doing things like this really helps me to stay balanced and keeps me sane, quite frankly. So if it can help me, there's a really good chance that it can help you as well. And while we're all different and we've got to find the things that work for us personally, I want to share this with you today as an opportunity to show you that when you're out with your camera, really, is it really about the photographs or is it about the things you experience when you're out and about? I certainly know for me personally that the images is like a byproduct. It's something extra, it's a bonus. It's things like this. Being out here in environments like this, walking barefoot on the beach, feeling the sun, feeling the elements, hearing the sea, that really brings me alive. And that added bonus of walking barefoot definitely adds to the experience. While walking on the beach comes with many wellness benefits, I think it's only sensible to say, before I share them, to use your discernment when doing this. After all, every single beach is a bit different. While many are clean and full of vast sands that are very safe to walk on, there are of course many beaches that are not. And you never know, there's a possibility that you may stand on something that could cut your feet. And in some parts of the world, there may even be some creatures who live on the beach that may sting you. So just to be aware of that before you begin this, use your discernment. But I personally feel where I live in the world that the benefits of walking barefoot on the beach far outweigh the risks. But as I say, please use your discernment and decide what's best for you. Now, when I first started walking barefoot on the sands, I was a child, so I had no idea about the potential scientific or wellness benefits of walking barefoot. I just knew that it felt good and I loved doing it. And as a result, I continued doing it into my adult life. And for me personally, this sense of something feeling good is enough for me to continue doing it. But over the years, and especially in recent years, I've begun to learn more and more actually just how beneficial doing something as simple as taking off your socks and shoes and walking along the sand can be. And the first thing I think that became very apparent to me, and is something that is really, really useful in photography, is that it really enhances the slowing down and the mindfulness approach. When you're walking barefoot across the sand, you become much more aware of what you're walking on. And this awareness of what you're walking on opens you up to so many different opportunities. You suddenly become aware of this whole world of subjects and treasures that have been washed up on the beach that you may never have noticed before. And one of the biggest elements of mindfulness is really being in the present moment. So when you're watching your feet walking along the sands and being very intentional about where you're standing because of what may be there, you naturally become much more present in the moment. And it also engages your other senses. If you're walking on dry, warm sand, there's that really beautiful feeling of heat that comes from the sand. And if you're walking on wet sand, you've got that coolness, which just, it can be really invigorating and, like I say, connects you more with the present moment. Wow, look at this shell that I've just found. How beautiful is that? Definitely a macro opportunity there. The more that I practice these mindfulness exercises, like walking barefoot along the beach or just beginning to tune into the landscape, notice these smaller finite details within it. When I do find a photographic subject like this beautiful shell here, I begin to realise that every single subject we come across can be made into hundreds, if not thousands, of images. And what I'm doing with this shell right now is I began by photographing it from above, by looking at the beautiful lines, the curvature within it, how these lines go from really small and then spread out as the shell gets to the outskirts of its edges. I'm also looking at, when the sun comes in and out of the clouds, how it produces shadows in between all these grooves in the shell. And then I got close to the ground and I started looking at the interaction between the shell and the sand, before then coming round to this side where what I guess I'd call the tip of the shell is sitting against the sand, and it's got a completely different view and a completely different feel than when photographing it from above or the side. And this is an exercise that I often teach when I'm doing my in-person workshops, is to find a subject that really speaks to you and spend an hour with it. And that may sound like a long time, but it can be fascinating when you spend a decent amount of time with one subject and how photographing it from different angles, truly seeing it, watching how the light interacts with it, and especially on a day like today with the sun's coming in and out of the clouds. So in some situations, like even today, picking this shell up and observing it more closely, photographing the underside of it as well as the sides, putting it in different positions, you can create a whole portfolio of images. It's a great exercise there for you to try when you're out with your camera. It's simply to walk around, find something that really catches your eye and just spend a decent amount of time with it, photographing it from different angles, getting close to it, getting further away from it, and seeing how many different images that you can create. And especially when you start going into that more abstract feel, the possibilities are limitless. I would never have found this shell if I hadn't have been walking barefoot. It was through walking over all the pebbles and being really cautious about where I was standing that this was brought to my attention. So I really feel this, taking off your socks and shoes and walking along the beach is a fantastic way to begin to see more. See more of what's underneath you, because you're not just stuck to this eye level walking that we often do, being totally oblivious to what's beneath us. And especially when you're somewhere like a beach with the incoming tide, every time that tide comes in and goes out again, it leaves treasures behind for us to discover. And at this time of year especially, it's full of beautiful shells like this. But the thing is, if you don't look down, you're not going to see them. It's amazing how something as simple as taking off your socks and shoes can really divert your attention to the ground, increasing your chances of finding beautiful things like this, as well as all the other wellness benefits that walking barefoot on the beach can bring your way. I mentioned earlier that I've always felt really good when I've walked barefoot on the beach, and I've never really thought about why. But something that I did learn about a few years ago was this concept of grounding, or often referred to as earthing. And it's essentially that the earth has an electric charge, and it's believed that when we connect with the earth through our bodies, such as walking barefoot, or even with our hands, that we are connecting with that electrical charge of the earth, which can bring wellness benefits our way, such as decreasing inflammation and pain, improving circulation, improving sleep, and also in reducing stress, and just giving us that general well-being feeling. Now, whether this is true or it's just a placebo effect is, well, I guess up to us as individuals to decide. But as I say, if you find walking along the beach makes you feel good, become aware of things like this. Do you notice that your pain reduces, that your stress levels reduce? And the combination of being by the sea and walking barefoot on the earth, as well as seeing the blueness of the sky and listening to the sound of the waves, all of these beautiful things combined often just makes us feel this sense of peace. It enables us to take this deep breath and just feel so connected to earth. And I think it's such a beautiful feeling to be able to connect with. And by walking barefoot, it gives us that opportunity to enhance that, which is beautiful. So there we have it. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you like the sound of walking barefoot along the beach and you feel it's something that you'd like to incorporate into your life, why not give it a go next time you're at the coast? Like I say, it may not be for everybody, and depending on what the beaches are like near you, you might not want to. But if your beach is clean and safe enough and you'd like to experience these potential benefits, then why not give it a go? And it's just an added thing to bring into your photographic practice, to connect with the beach more deeply and to help you see things that you may not have seen otherwise. And if you'd like to learn how to connect with the coast more deeply, you may find my new ebook, Connecting with the Coast, of benefit. I take you through all the different coastal environments, from beaches to dunes to harbours to villages to caves, and even incorporate things like bird life and marine mammals, giving you mindful connection exercises as well as photography exercises for you to enjoy at no matter what beach location you find yourself in. And if you want to come to this part of Scotland and experience this beautiful place for yourself, as well as all the wellness benefits that brings, I run mindful coastal photography retreats here on the beautiful Moray coast in Scotland, and you can find all the details and dates on my website. As always, I want to say a huge thank you for watching and wishing you a very blessed and creative week.